FM News Talk 97.1.
On demand audio.
Peggy Hubbard's joining us this hour. Peggy, sorry to go off on a rant before I get you on the air, but I appreciate you giving us some time today. How are you?
Hi, I'm pretty good. Hi.
You know, I know you are. And let me preface this by saying, I only want you to talk about what you're comfortable talking about, but I know that you're the wife of a law enforcement officer who was recently wounded in the line of duty. So I know this hits very close to home for you.
Mark, it hits so close. It's been less than a week. My husband was on a traffic stop, and he was shot multiple times Saturday night on a traffic stop by a guy who had a restraining order against him. And his comment to the police was he wanted to kill a cop, any cop.
Wow. Do you think it's related to the stories that we're hearing out of, well, obviously the Minnesota and the Louisiana story happened since then, but is it connected to that sense of frustration? Peggy, are you there? What happened? Peggy, hello? It appears we've lost our connection with Peggy. We will try to get her. We'll try to get her back on the line. She might have been on a cell phone, so we'll try to get her back on the line here. I apologize for that. Her husband was shot during a traffic stop a week ago, and you heard her say just then by someone who said he just wanted to shoot a cop, any cop. What has this country come to when we hire people to do a job who are willing to lay their lives on the line for us? Every day they go to work. Every day my father-in-law went to work, who worked for St. Louis County Police, and got on his radio and said 10-8 and was on the job, like from the moment he left his house. And there's a segment of our society who doesn't want law enforcement to enforce laws. And that is, we can't continue down that path. Peggy, I'm sorry we lost you there a minute ago.
Yes.
You're back on the air. My question was that obviously the two shootings that preceded Dallas happened after this incident involving your husband. Do you think your husband's shooting was somehow connected to this underlying frustration or anger at police?
Yeah, I really do, Mark. You got to look at, like I was just saying before I was cut off, you got to look at the big picture of things. When we had that first cop that was ambushed last year in Dallas at the gas station, I don't know if anybody could remember that.
I do remember that. Somebody walked up and shot him from the back.
Shot him point blank.
Right.
Now, fast forward, looking at that situation, we have a president that could have very well shut this down a year ago. Now we're having multiple police officers shot. I have to tell you, there are bad cops out there, but I looked at the footage yesterday and I saw cops shielding people from gunfire. And you don't hear about that. You don't get that on your media, on your CNN, on your Fox News. These men and women put their lives on the line every single day. This situation started right here, ground zero in Ferguson. We have a commander-in-chief that said that this could very well have been his son, his child. When you have parents in the St. Louis area, in Detroit, in Minneapolis, in Louisiana, L.A., New York, that are not being accountable and responsible for raising these children right. They are taught to hate law enforcement. But who is first there in the scene, in the thick of it, to save lives? Law enforcement. I almost lost my husband Saturday night. There is nothing in the world I can tell you the pain, the anger, the despair and the frustration you feel when you get a knock at the door at 1:30 in the morning and they tell you, I am sorry, but your husband has been shot multiple times in the line of duty.
How's he doing, Peggy?
For the most part, he is here, but he's not here. He's hurt, he's angry, he's dismayed, and quite frankly, Mark, from looking at the news stories, and I tried to keep him from watching it yesterday, he is pissed, especially now that another cop in less than 5 days has been gunned down on a traffic stop. This is not funny. These cops, these men, these first responders are putting their lives on the line. They are not doing it for the paycheck. They are doing it because they want to keep their communities safe. There are bad cops out there, and yeah, let's get rid of them. Let's weed them out. Yes, let's do that. Some people do not deserve to wear the badge. When I was a cop, I had a hand in removing bad cops off the force because they don't deserve it. It is a dishonor. It is a disgrace. It is an embarrassment. But for the majority of the police officers nationwide, they are out there to do a job, and they do a damn good job. And to be singled out because you wear a uniform, and our president doesn't take to the airwaves until the next day to shut this down is a disgrace. He has done more to divide this country than bring it together.
The Attorney General came out earlier and appealed for calm, but I'm not sure that was enough. I think we needed to hear that probably from the president. I mean, he
needed to hear that from the president in Ferguson. Instead, what did he do? He sends the DOJ to Ferguson and set this powder keg off. That is what he did. Then we have a governor who doesn't know his head from a hole in the ground, to put it bluntly. For him to do what he did and then turn around and say, we need to demilitarize the police. Mark, if I had my way, I would give these men a Laws rocket. I would give them every piece of artillery I can possibly give them to shut this down. We need leadership. We do not need talking heads. We need people that are going to go in there and do what they need to do to get our country back, to protect our men and women, because they have the right to come home at the end of the night to see their family. I almost lost my husband, and I'm still dealing with that. It is raw. I feel guilt that my husband got to come home and 5 other cops did not come home.
Peggy, you first came to my attention with your Facebook post after the Ferguson situation, talking about the ridiculousness of the reaction and things like that. You have a perspective on this that I can't begin to imagine, having grown up in North St. Louis. What is your response to the Black Lives Matter movement and the frustration they talk about and discuss with cops stopping black people more often, arresting black people more often, and in their words, shooting black? One lady said, we're targets, they're hunting us. What do you say when you hear comments like that?
When I hear targets like that, Mark, the first thing I say is, what are you doing to draw attention to yourself? If you're driving down the street with 22 rims and your radio is blasting and you're looking suspect, of course they're going to stop you. They're going to stop you. If you're hanging out on street corners with your pants down around your ass, sorry to say that, your pants down around your butt, yeah, they're going to stop you. Yeah, they are. And holler Black Lives Matter and beat your chest and hold up the Black Power sign. Black lives have got to matter to black people first, because up in Chicago over the 4th of July holiday, over 34 people were shot. 9 of them were killed. We didn't see the president on television. We didn't see the DOJ on television. Over the Father's Day weekend, 63 people were shot. 12 died. We didn't see the president on television. If Black lives matter, it's got to matter to the black community first, because white America cannot fix inner city Black America. Black people have to come together, do what they need to do, put these little turds in their place, and tell them we are not going to have this anymore. If you're doing something, if the police are stopping you, they're stopping you for a reason. They prefer not to stop you, but if you're bringing attention to yourself, if you're looking suspect, you know what? Maybe it's something that you're doing to draw the police to you. They are not hunting you. They don't want to hunt you. They are not doing that. That is a misperception that they are feeding. And I blame the Democratic Party. I blame our president, our commander-in-chief, because Black America has been spoon-fed BS for the last 8 years. It is you. It is not anything that the police are doing. It is you. I have Black friends. My Black neighbors are still living in the hood. They drive around every day, and they never get pulled over by the police. It's these little thundercats that the police have a problem with. There is no accountability. There is no responsibility. And the first thing these parents say is, what did the police do? Like what happened to my husband this past weekend. The mother of this guy, mother-in-law of this guy, said that it was something that my spouse, my husband, did to provoke him to shoot him. She made excuses for him being shot.
That's
it was
unbelievable.
his fault he got shot because it was something the police officer did to him to make him shoot him. This is what we got in the Black community. No accountability, no responsibility, and this is our problem. And as Black Americans, we have got to stop passing blame and look at ourselves, because until we do, none of this is going to matter and none of this is going to stop. And I guarantee, Mark, it's going to get worse if we don't get a handle on the situation. Another cop shot in less than a week.
Peggy Hubbard, my prayers go out to your husband, and I hope he recovers quickly. Thank you for your time today.
No problem.
You hang in there, and I would encourage people to go to Peggy's Corner on Facebook, and if she'll accept you as a friend, you can listen. You can read some of her thoughts on this pretty regularly. Peggy, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Have a good day. Let me take a break. 314-969-9797. When a phone line opens, I will get to your calls when we come back.